The newsroom lights flickered, casting long shadows across the studio as tension mounted in the air. Producers whispered urgently behind the scenes, their eyes glued to the monitors, anticipating the next big development. Suddenly, the urgent alert flashed across the bottom of television screens worldwide, its red ticker demanding attention and signaling that something major was unfolding. Breaking, Pentagon issues, emergency warning over Canada's fighter jet deal, boomed the anchor, her voice slicing through the tense silence and echoing in living rooms everywhere. The gravity in her tone made it clear, this was no ordinary news story. The Pentagon's press room was packed, cameras whirring and flashes popping, as the spokesperson stepped to the podium, face set in stone, the weight of the moment evident in every movement. We have grave concerns regarding Canada's reported decision to procure the Saab Gripen fighter, she began, every word measured, heavy with implication. The room fell silent, reporters hanging on her every syllable. The world seemed to hold its breath. Within seconds, the Pentagon statement was being replayed across every major network. The gravity of the moment, unmistakable. In airports, cafes, and homes, people stopped what they were doing to watch. This is an unprecedented move, the anchor intoned, her voice steady but urgent. And the implications could reach far beyond North America. Analysts began speculating about the potential fallout, from diplomatic tensions to shifts in military alliances. Social media feeds erupted, hashtags like Gripen Alert and Canada Clapback trending globally. Tweets, posts, and videos flooded the internet as millions weighed in, sharing opinions and anxieties about what might come next. Reporters scrambled for details, piecing together the magnitude of the crisis. Newsrooms buzzed with activity as correspondents reached out to sources, trying to uncover the story behind the Pentagon's warning. For many, the phrase urgent alert conjured memories of past military escalations, moments when the world seemed to teeter on the edge of uncertainty. But this time, it was not about missiles or tanks, it was about the skies, and which nation would control them. The future of air power, and perhaps the balance of global security, now hung in the balance. In Washington, D.C., the mood was electric, charged with anticipation and a sense that history was unfolding in real time. The city's iconic buildings glowed against the night, their windows lit late into the evening as officials worked overtime. Phones rang off the hook in the Situation Room, each call bringing new updates, urgent questions, and mounting pressure. Staffers darted between desks, relaying messages and scanning screens for breaking developments. Political aides whispered furiously in corridors, clutching briefing folders stamped top secret. Every conversation was hushed, every glance loaded with meaning as rumors swirled and speculation grew. High-level Pentagon officials clustered around a digital map, Sweden and Canada glowing ominously. Down the street, the CNN newsroom pulsed with energy, its staff racing to keep up with the relentless pace of the story. Producers barked orders, analysts pored over military specs, and seasoned correspondents compared notes. This isn't just hardware, one muttered, shaking their head. It's about alliances and the future of global security. A map of North America rotated on giant screens, highlighting Canada's air bases and potential Gripen deployment points. The graphics flickered as new data poured in, each update raising the stakes. Meanwhile, in Ottawa, Canadian defense officials huddled behind closed doors. The Prime Minister's staff fielded urgent calls from ambassadors and NATO liaisons, their faces tense as they weighed every word and every possible consequence. "We need a united front," a senior aide insisted, voice taut with resolve. Around the table, officials nodded in agreement, understanding that the decisions made tonight could shape the nation's future. The stakes, everyone agreed, had never been higher. In the background, the world's eyes shifted north. This was no ordinary policy dispute. It was a full-blown diplomatic storm, with thunder still gathering. The outcome would ripple far beyond these rooms, affecting alliances, economies, and the delicate balance of power worldwide. What sparked such alarm in Washington? The answer wasn't just about a new aircraft, but about the delicate balance of power and trust among allies. The answer lay in the Saab JAS 39 Gripen, Sweden's agile, cost-effective multi-role fighter jet. Designed for versatility and rapid deployment, the Gripen had quietly earned a reputation for reliability and advanced technology, all at a fraction of the cost of its competitors. Its ability to operate from short, rugged airstrips and its ease of maintenance made it especially attractive to countries seeking independence from larger defense suppliers. For years, the U.S. had promoted its own F-35 as the backbone of Allied air power. Billions had been invested in ensuring that partners flew the same jets, shared the same data, and relied on American technology. Now, Canada's reported preference for the Gripen threatened to disrupt that vision, raising questions about loyalty, interoperability, and the future of joint operations. The Gripen doesn't integrate seamlessly into our command systems, warned Major General Thomas Reed, a key Pentagon strategist. It could create gaps in our shared defense network, making it harder to coordinate missions and share intelligence in real time. The concern wasn't just technical, it was about maintaining unity in the face of evolving threats. The Pentagon's technical report, leaked to the press, cited interoperability risks, cyber vulnerabilities, and concerns about maintenance logistics. Analysts pored over the details, debating whether these issues were genuine obstacles or simply pressure tactics to keep allies in line with U.S. defense priorities. Underneath the technical jargon, the real fear was strategic. If Canada broke ranks, would other allies follow? Could this be the first domino to fall, leading to a fragmented alliance where each nation pursued its own path? This is about the integrity of the alliance, an anonymous U.S. official told reporters. We can't afford missteps. Every decision sends a signal, not just to friends but to potential adversaries watching closely. The Pentagon's urgent warning was both a technical critique and a political shot across Ottawa's bow. The message was clear: in the high-stakes chess game of global security, even a single move could change everything. The world was watching, and the next step could redefine alliances for years to come. Ottawa did not flinch. Within hours, the Canadian Minister of National Defence, Emily Bouchard, fired back at a packed press conference. Canada chooses what's best for Canada, she declared, voice ringing with conviction. Our sovereignty is not up for negotiation. The Gripen meets our needs. Period. The response was more than rhetoric. Canadian officials released a technical assessment rebutting the Pentagon's claims, citing independent studies that praised the Gripen's reliability and adaptability to northern climates. We have done our due diligence, Bouchard insisted. We will not be intimidated. The Canadian public rallied behind their leaders. Talk radio hosts championed the government's boldness, and editorial headlines read, "Canada stands tall." Social media was awash with hashtags like "Knox Sovereign Skies" and "True North Strong." For many Canadians, the moment felt historic. It was not just about jets, it was about dignity, independence, and the right to chart their own course. The crisis struck at the heart of NATO's delicate balance. The alliance depends on seamless coordination and shared equipment. For decades, the United States has led the way, its fighter jets serving as the glue that held the coalition together. Now that unity was under strain. NATO's Secretary General, in a carefully worded statement, called for calm and constructive dialogue. Behind the scenes, officials admitted to anxiety. If one member diverges, it sets a precedent, said a senior NATO planner. We must weigh national preferences against collective security. The fighter jet market has always been fiercely competitive. The F-35, Eurofighter Typhoon, and Rafale have all vied for contracts. But the Gripen surge, backed by Sweden's neutral foreign policy, added a new twist. Some allies quietly admired Canada's assertiveness, others worried about fragmentation. For NATO, the challenge was clear: maintain cohesion without stifling sovereign choice. A balancing act fraught with peril. The crisis brought a flurry of statements from top officials on both sides of the border. In Washington, Secretary of Defense Michael Carter spoke solemnly. Our partnership with Canada is vital, but interoperability is non-negotiable. We urge Ottawa to reconsider, for the sake of Allied security. Across the aisle, Canadian Prime Minister Lucas Grant was equally forceful. We respect our allies, but we will not be dictated to, he told Parliament. Canada's defense decisions will be made in Ottawa, not Washington. The chamber erupted in applause, the message unmistakable. Sweden, too, entered the fray. Saab's CEO, Karin Lindqvist, held a rare press conference, defending the Gripen's track record. The Gripen has proven itself in harsh conditions. We stand ready to support Canada's defense, she said. Her words resonated across Europe and beyond. As statements ricocheted through capitals, the rhetoric only heightened the sense of brinkmanship. The world watched, spellbound. Behind closed doors, the atmosphere was charged. In a secure conference room at the Pentagon, American generals debated options. Some urged a hard line, threatened to limit intelligence sharing. Others counseled patience, warning against alienating a key ally. Meanwhile in Ottawa, Canadian officials prepared a dossier of technical data, ready to push back at every turn. "We have the facts on our side," said Deputy Defense Minister Raj Patel. "We will not compromise our sovereignty for convenience." Diplomats shuttled between embassies, searching for common ground. NATO's crisis hotline buzzed with activity as envoys sought to calm nerves and avert a wider rift. Every meeting crackled with tension. Every word weighed for its potential to escalate or de-escalate the standoff. Yet, as dawn broke over both capitals, no resolution was in sight. The impasse held. Allied capitals watched the drama unfold with growing unease. In Berlin, Paris, and London, defense ministers convened emergency briefings. "If Canada can defy Washington, who's next?" wondered a British official, noting that procurement decisions could now become litmus tests for alliance loyalty. In Asia and the Middle East, partners recalibrated their own defense strategies. Some saw opportunity in Canada's boldness, others feared a domino effect. "The world is changing," remarked a Japanese defense analyst. "Old certainties are being questioned." Arms manufacturers, too, sensed a shift. Saab's stocks surged, while American defense giants lobbied furiously to protect their interests. The ripple effects were economic, as well as strategic, with billions in contracts hanging in the balance. Above all, the crisis forced a reckoning. In an era of shifting power, even long-standing alliances could be tested in ways few had anticipated. As the world watched, the standoff showed no signs of cooling. Both the United States and Canada dug in, each side convinced of its righteousness. NATO's calls for unity rang hollow against the backdrop of public sparring and private mistrust. Diplomatic channels remained open, but the mood was brittle. Analysts warned that the dispute could spill into other areas: trade, intelligence, even future military exercises. "This is a watershed moment," said a senior policy expert. "The choices made now will echo for years. For now, the only certainty is uncertainty. Will Canada proceed with the Gripen? Will Washington retaliate? Will NATO adapt or fracture? The answers remain elusive, the stakes impossibly high. One thing is clear: the world cannot afford to look away. The next move, by Ottawa, Washington, or another ally, could reshape the very architecture of Western defense.